Fridays at 8 with Jonathan Mark on AM 1480 WLEA.
Well, what a surprise. We changed the intro. Where is Paul Harvey?
Do you want me to play it again? You want the other intro?
No, it's fine. That's different. Okay, very good.
It was a control board issue. I'll explain.
Uh-oh. Yikes. Mice in the control board again. Is that
They
it?
must have eaten the other intro.
That's... I love it. Anyway, as always, Friday is the best time of year, and it is Friday, no matter when it occurs. And this week, it's occurring on March 8th. You know, in a world where everything seems to be turning upside down, at least we can be pretty sure where we can find Friday. It always comes at the end of the week, tucked right between Thursday and Saturday. Very handy. You can't miss it. Now, let's say that things had worked out otherwise. Let's say for some reason Friday came in the middle of the week, such as between Tuesday and Wednesday. That would be pretty confusing. So we'd have, let's see here, we'd have Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. That's no good. Or how about if Friday wound up in the middle of the weekend, stuck right between Saturday and Sunday? Even worse, because in that case you'd have, let me see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Friday, and then Sunday. That would be even more confusing. But no, I think things are the best just the way they are. Okay, man, is it chilly out there. I mean, this, talking about the weather is pretty boring, except this winter. It's been pretty unusual, just a little cold, a little aggravating. So I got up this morning, let me see, my usual ridiculous time between 1 and 2 in the morning. I don't know why. That's the time I get up, and I can't help it. So I get up, and it's a little chilly. I go downstairs, and I look at the thermometer, and it was -6. It gets a little chilly, and I think because Alameda is in a valley, a narrow valley, it gets very, very cold there. I don't know why. I'm not quite sure. And about an hour later, it was -7. So I figure, let's see, kind of chilly out here. Let me see, what do we do? So I made a cup of coffee, and then I built a fire in the living room, kind of warming the place up. And it's getting really nice and toasty warm in there. And then my wife comes down and says, "What's going on here?" I said, "Well, I built a fire, and it's warming the place." She's, "Honey, we don't have a fireplace." I said, "Oh, that's right, we don't have a fireplace." So it took us a while to get that fire out, but it did warm the place up. It took a while to get the smoke out, too. Anyway, sometimes things don't really work out. I'm only kidding, okay? I'm only kidding. You never know. Anyway, this time of year, we usually start making up lists of projects for spring and summer. Like, first I'll tackle this, and then I'll tackle that. Maybe a list of, let's say, 15 projects. And I have found, I don't know about you, but it's so with me, that at the end of summer, or let's say the beginning of fall, I've done everything on the list except the very first one. And I don't know why it works out that way. Oh, well, the first one on the list is the last one done. So let's say the most important project is number 1. And it gets to be like September, and the first project has never been done, but everything else has been. And I don't know why it works out that way. But I think what it is, you're anticipating spring and summer, and you want to get going, and the most important project is going to be the biggest and the hardest, and so you never really get to it. Okay, anyway, that's me. Well, before we do anything here, I'd like to mention 2 people, and both of whom are well known in the area. One is a public figure, and so I could talk about him easily. The second one is not exactly a public figure, but he might as well be, because Lou Nasca over the years has become sort of an institution in the city of Hornell. I found out, thanks to last Friday's edition of The Spectator, that Lou Nasca celebrated his 50th year of cutting hair and styling hair and all that stuff. So 50 years of cutting hair. He started in 1969. Wow, 50 years of cutting hair. Now, I've known Lou since I started writing news here in the mid-'80s or something. And Lou is one of the nicest people you will meet anywhere, ever. He's a great conversationalist, and I think mostly politics. He's very well informed and an all-around good guy. And I think part of being, a barber, hairdresser, a hairstylist, or something. Anyway, barber, haircutter, whatever. And you have to be a good conversationalist. Because if you think of Lou, you think, well, number one, he has a broom in his hand and he's sweeping up hair clippings. Okay? That's Lou. You walk into his shop, which probably I'm a little overdue. Okay? What are you laughing at? What's so funny about that? Okay. Anyway, so I'm a little overdue. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't seen Lou in a couple of years, and it probably shows. Anyway, so you walk into his shop there on Seneca Street, and he's sweeping up hair. A very clean, neat guy. And you sit in this chair and you talk about politics, you talk about what's going on in the city of Hornell. And as I said, he's a great conversationalist. I think it's mandatory. If you cut people's hair, you have to be a good conversationalist. And Lou really is, and he's an awfully nice guy, and he really knows his politics. And that's I like that. And just think, imagine all the hair clippings he swept up over 50 years. I mean, probably tons and tons of hair. Everybody knows Lou. So even though he's a private citizen, he's well known in the area. So let me see who that's. Let me see. Oh, Arkport Village Mayor Charlie Flanders. Now, I met Charlie too when I started doing news here, and at that time he was Hornellsville town supervisor. Now, I've met a lot of good people doing news. That's really one of the things I really enjoyed about doing news is a really nice, interesting people you meet. And speaking as a news guy, I always found Charlie very easy to work with. He's low-key, he has a really good sense of humor, and he always answered my questions. And if he said he would get back to me, he would. Most people do, some people don't, but he would always get back to me. Nice guy. Well, as probably most of our listeners know, Charlie has esophageal cancer. And he's currently undergoing treatment. I think he's, first he's doing the radiation treatment, which he's been undergoing for several weeks now. And then comes the chemotherapy, which apparently is that's really tough to deal with, but that's what he's going to be undergoing. He's still carrying on his duties as mayor. Not quite as much as he was, but he's still in the game, and he wants to know what's going on, and he still has a hand in what's going on in the village of Arkport. Now, I met him this week at an area store. I'm not going to say what store, but it was an area retail store, okay? That's all I'm saying about that. And he looked good. Charlie looked really good. In fact, he looked more than good. He was upbeat. He was cheerful. He seemed very optimistic. And this is kind of subtle, and it's probably only me. But for some reason, I think you can tell a lot about a person by the quality of their handshake. At least guys, not so much women. Good grief, I know that's sexist, but that's how I feel, okay? You could tell a lot about a guy by the quality of their handshake. I think a good solid handshake is a good sign. It's not an arm wrestling contest, you know. I mean, you don't want to shake the guy, say, I shake the guy, you know. And you don't want to dislocate a person's shoulder, but a good solid handshake and it's all good. And that's what Charlie had. A good solid handshake. And he was upbeat. As I said, he was upbeat. He was positive. He was in a really good mood. And he says, I am going to beat this. And I said, Charlie, you probably will. With an attitude like that, you can't go wrong. So I just thought I'd mention that Charlie seems to be doing pretty good. He's still running the village of Arkport, and he's still there, and everything's fine. Okay, let me see, what next? Oh, the time change, that's right. Spring forward, fall back. I did a lot of research on daylight saving time this week, and it's really complicated. You know, not all nations observe daylight saving. However, most do, some don't. So let me see. Spring forward, fall back. A lot of people don't like this time change. I think it's great. I like a lot of sunshine in the summertime. I think it's really cool. But let me see. I was doing research, and Benjamin Franklin, old Ben Franklin, proposed a form of daylight saving time back in the 18th century. It was in the 1780s, and he thought it